Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video today. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you guys are coming back, thank you so much for being here with me and going through spectacular 31 days of Halloween. Loki says, "Yay! Thank you." And I know I've had some tech problems the last couple days, and I know this is late, but this is still today, right? So I will get this video out as soon as I possibly can. But I want to thank you guys so much for supporting me and your comments. I really appreciate them. So thank you. And I hope you're enjoying this. So today I want to talk to you guys about something that it might be a little interesting, and I hope that I'm not coming across as rude. Um, because some of it is negative, but I want positive in it as well. I am a psychic reader, as you guys know. If you don't know, I am. Go to www.lisatbrink.com for a booking, or you can actually comment in the comments below and ask me. And actually, if you guys mention this video, you will get maybe a little something extra from a reading from me. But I digress. I have done hundreds of readings in my life. I have found more and more people have become open to getting readings. And I see a lot of confusion and a lot of misinformation. So I wanted to talk to you guys about some do's and don'ts of getting a reading done. This is to make your experience better. This is a partnership between the client and the reader. And if you do certain things, your reading probably is not going to turn out well. If you don't have good communication and you're not open to the experience, this could cause a lot of problems. So let's start there. Just some basic things. I am a psychic empath, and I am working on learning to do mediumship. So, what does this mean? A psychic empath, a psychic person, is someone who can tell some things in the past, the present, and quite possibly the future. They are able to predict things that are going to happen with some accuracy. No one is perfect. And I'm going to remind you of this multiple times during this video, because if you go in with unrealistic expectations, you're going to be very disappointed. So, an empath is a person who can feel the feelings of other people like they're feeling them themselves. Reflect and understand feelings coming off of you, even if you're presenting a different face. So let's just say, for example, you are presenting yourself as being a happy, cheerful person, but you've had an awful day and you're trying to ignore it. I will still feel that. I have done that since I was a baby. It is sometimes very difficult to understand the difference between my emotions and somebody else's. And this is something that I have been working on. It is a lifelong practice. So, what is a medium? A medium is a person who can communicate with spirits, energy, elementals, different types of beings on a level that is outside of the five senses. So it's like, for example, speaking to a ghost, or, you know, seeing a ghost in a haunted house or something like that. It is very much like speaking to a ghost, but you can read people's life force. It can be more difficult, but you can do a reading for someone who is alive and read their life force, even if they're thousands of miles away from you. The tools that a psychic uses. Some psychics use absolutely nothing. This is what I do about 70% of the time. I don't use anything. However, not every reader uses tarot cards. Some use nothing but tarot cards. Some people use pendulums. Some people use spirit boards. Some people, have a deck of playing cards and use them. Everybody is different. So don't be, you know, freaked out if you walk into a reading and they use absolutely nothing or they use all the tools that they have. Tools are there for improving the experience. It's just like, sometimes having an ice cold coffee is adding to your experience of your day. It makes it better. So that is adding to your experience. And it also helps the psychic, however they need to do things. Now, I'm going to use this words psychic and reading interchangeably. So that's kind of what you want to expect when you walk in. They may not have any cards, they might have every card in the world, but it is what it is. The second thing that you really should do is be mindful of your attitude. And the reason I'm saying this is for a very specific reason. Do not go into any sort of reading where your goal is to challenge the psychic. Okay? So that means you are going to go in and be deceitful, tell half truths or complete lies because you are wanting to catch the psychic being wrong and then ruin their reputation, give them a bad review, whatever. This is our bread and butter, and I don't have time for someone coming in for a deceitful reason. Now, if you're willing to pay me for that time, because, I do run a business and this is what I do, and to go into a reading and this is your goal, you probably shouldn't go in. It is not my job to prove anything to you. Okay? I am there to work. And if you are giving me nothing to work with, or you're giving me a story or half truths, I'm going to call you out. I'll still take your money because that's what I do, but I don't go to your business and I don't call you out or tell you half truths or try to ruin your reputation or anything like that. Why would you do that to somebody else? Just remember, it is your money and most of us get payment up front. So if that is your goal, just don't even. I mean, you can book with me. I'll take your money and I'll call you out. But if that's what you want to pay for, great. If you're trying to get somebody, don't. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about, another don't. Um, don't go in and not give any context at all. I think people forget that there is a difference between mind reading and psychics. So I'm not a mind reader and I don't know who is. So if you are wanting me to understand an entire situation, but you only tell me like a sentence or a half a sentence about the situation, but you want me to know all about it because you think I just should because I'm psychic, I'm working with the information that you are giving me and what I'm getting from spirit. And, it may not always gel. You may not get a good reading because you're telling me I went to Sally's party and I had a fight. Okay. Well, is Aunt Sally mad at me? Okay, yeah, sure. Is this like a physical altercation? Was this? Was it this? And don't be angry if your psychic is asking you questions to clarify things. We are not mind readers, we are psychics. There is a huge difference. And as an empath, I can pick up your deceit. And knowing that your half truths or your little snippets that you're giving me is not enough. That's not fair to me, and that's not fair to you. If you want a good experience, be open to giving context and be open to answering questions, because sometimes questions are just validation, and sometimes questions are just, we need to clear something up. We're human. I say this over and over again. We are human. Okay? We make mistakes. That's the other thing. Please do realize that none of us are perfect. There is not a psychic medium, anything in this world that have ever been 100% accurate. We're human. We make mistakes. And I tell people all the time before my readings, I do everything that I do with the best of my abilities. I tell you the truth. I sugarcoat nothing. And I am a human and I make mistakes. And when I say I do things to the best of my ability, I have to interpret things. I have to take signs or even just names or a few things that I am given and try to interpret them. And the way it's presented to me is to make sense to me. I can relate things that make sense to me, but if I've never experienced it before, it has to be related to me somehow. So I can make a mistake. And I'm okay admitting that. I've made several. I will continue to make several. I am a human being, and so is every single person that you are contacting with reader. So please do remember that most of us are going to be honest with you and do everything with the best, with the tools that we have. I don't gain anything out of lying, and I don't want you to have false information. The information that I give you is correct to the best of my ability, but it may be wrong because I may have interpreted it wrong, and I'm okay admitting that. This is a very difficult thing for people to understand. Do not expect any spirit of anybody that has passed on to be connected to you during your reading. And this is so hard for people to understand because they feel like if they make an appointment and they bring a piece of jewelry or something that was connected to that person, or they're concentrating or they prayed or whatever, meditated, and they go to a reading and they want to talk about their grandfather. Your grandfather is under no obligation to have any sort of communication with you. And that is hard to take. And I understand that that can be heartbreaking. Spirits do not work on demand. Sometimes they will come through, and other times they won't. If they are not coming through, I'll tell you. I'll tell you whatever I'm picking up. But the other thing is, please do remember this, that even though you may not hear what you want to hear, like you wanted to hear from your grandmother, or you wanted to hear something very specific, you are going to hear what you need to hear. Might have come into the reading with the hope and the intention of speaking to your grandfather, but you hear from, Uncle Ted, who is telling you to, stop walking at night without a flashlight or a torch. You know, it can save your life. The message that is coming across may not be what you wanted to hear, but it will definitely be what you needed to hear. Take it personally if they don't want to talk to you, because it may not be appropriate to talk to you at that time. And that can be for a barrage of reasons, including a very recent death and the spirit itself is still in shock, or it will interfere with your life contract. And that's something I can do a video on later and explain more about it. But they will not interfere with certain things in your life that you have already set up to do. And if you are coming for that very specific reason to get advice from them about this particular situation that could change the trajectory of your life path, they will not come through. And even though it's for our comfort, remember, it's for our comfort, not for theirs. It can be very uncomfortable for some spirits to communicate. Some do not have the strength to do it, while others, it just isn't something that they like to do. They are under no obligation. And that is, like I said, a very hard thing to remember. But do keep that in mind. Don't be angry at the psychic or the medium if they can't get whoever that you wanted to speak to. Because remember, you have free will, and so do they. And they have the ability to do whatever they want or what they don't want. And it is completely valid. Say you are a client of mine, because this is the example I'm using, but let's say you're a client of mine, and we have done readings for about a year. And when we first started reading, I told you X, Y, and Z was going to happen by X, Y, and Z. Now I'm telling you something different. And you point out that, well, hey, back in September, you told me that I was going to be dating this guy by December and blah, 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 blah. Yep, it was right then. Everybody has free will. You make decisions in your life, and life has a way of happening to you. But everything you do is a choice. Told you, several months ago that something was going to happen doesn't mean that your path hasn't changed in that time. You can do many things to change your path because you have free will. And that is something as simple as a phone call that you didn't make, a meeting that you skipped, the fact that now you have gotten sick. There are thousands of different things that change the trajectory of your life path. 99.9% of it is free will. And you have changed your path. So what was true then is not true now. And that is something I do need to, I do remind people that, you were wanting to date this guy, but in the meantime, you met somebody else and you started talking to him. Well, guess what? That changed the whole path. So now it's different. And now that you are speaking to this other person, your original person might have moved on. It is life. It is choices that you make. What I want to talk to you guys about is tipping. So I have been asked multiple times if tipping is appropriate. It can be. Yes, it's appreciated, definitely, but it's not expected. Some people have a tip jar out just to make things easier for you. If you want to put a tip in there, great. If not, no big deal. No skin off my teeth, but I appreciate it if you do it. Or if you want to add a tip, that's fine. Whatever you guys want to do, but you are under no obligation to tip. Your obligation is the price that you have agreed to, and pay that. You are going to pay that up front. So, $15 is your reading for a half hour, whatever it is. You're going to pay that first, and that's what they're expecting. That's what they're going to get. But if you want to leave a tip, great. Now, I definitely want to remind people that this is a service and this is something that takes a lot of energy for us. And while people don't necessarily think 15 minutes is worth a tip, just remember that it does take a lot of energy and a lot of life force. And there are times that I do readings for people and I have to stop. I maybe had 5 for the day, but I have to stop at 2 because one person drained all the energy out of me. I have to stop and take a nap, or like for me, it's like getting sugar or go take a walk or something, because people can drain your energy very few. If I'm like, hey, I just had the worst reading and I can't do your reading right now, but I can at this time, I'll tell you. Want to come across as negative, but I want you guys to remember that this is a service, and some people like donations, some people um, charge, but it is appropriate for us to charge because we are doing work and we deserve to be paid for our services, just like going and getting your nails done. None of us are psychologists. Well, some of us might be, but okay, we are not acting in that capacity when we are with you. We are not doctors, or we're just not working in that capacity when we are with you. If you were having medical problems, if you were having certain psychological problems, don't reach out to a psychic, reach out to the proper people. If you are having suicidal thoughts or tendencies, what I'm going to do is refer you either to 911, depending on your situation, or I have, suicide hotlines or things like that that I would give to you, because that is the expertise for them, not me. And remember, people are just people. We do the best that we can. And I want your experience to be good. I want you to feel comfortable, and I want you to be able to have a conversation with me, not me just guessing. Guessing happens when you don't give a proper amount of information. It is completely okay and completely valid for a psychic to ask you questions. We are not mind readers. We work. All right, everybody, I hope some of this gave you some expectations and maybe some do's or don'ts as what to happen when you go to a psychic and get a reading, because there's a lot there that can go wrong. You want to have the best experience? Take some of these tips. And remember, I am booking. So, like I said, go to www.lisatbrink.com, or you can DM me, comment, whatever. I am booking readings right now. It's the best time of year for this. All right, everybody, please stay safe wherever you are. And remember, every single day is a gift. Use your time wisely. Bye for now.